team coming in. This is great news, huh?
Yeah, it's awesome. Known about it for a while. It's been in the works for quite a while. I mean, it was talked about this summer, and it's going to be one of those moments. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around it, honestly. It's going to be one of those moments that, like, where were you, or were you there? I remember when, Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi and the whole gang came to Gill Coliseum. So really honored and excited about the opportunity, to compete against them and to host them.
What does it say, Scott, about just like the work that you and your staff have done over the years to be able to put yourself in a position to be an attractive location for Team USA to come and, be one of, I believe, 4 schools, as we heard, that, will play them?
Yeah, I mean, that's an honor, right? When Carol mentioned it to me, Carol Callan with USA Basketball, when she mentioned it to me this summer, that was my first thing. My first thought was how cool, how cool. That's a validation of what's so many people have built here over the years, the fan base that we have, the reputation that our program has nationwide that's absolutely a validation of that. And so I'm happy for our players. I'm happy for our fans. I mean, they came here to be part of something special, to compete for national championships, to have opportunities to cut nets, to do things, that to have their dreams come true, and maybe things beyond their dreams. And, I can tell you, our first ever sellout in Gill Coliseum a few years ago versus Stanford was beyond my dream. The way that all played out, not a sellout necessarily, but what it meant and how it came together. And so here is another moment. We have players wearing USA jersey. Well, that was not the case. Several years ago, we weren't in those conversations. That's completely changed through a lot of hard work and the belief from so many in our program. And so here is another kind of pinch yourself moment, for all of us, that we would be included in this. Program's worthy, and so feel great for everyone.
You talked about pinch yourself moment too. How do you approach the game itself? Because some stargazing, yes, but also you want to get the kids ready for the next game and the season and all that. What do you tell them?
Getting ahead of me here. I've got to come up with that. Best team in the world. Right, best team in the world, and so we have our first real counting game that following Saturday, right? Yep, Saturday, and so several days later we're playing Irvine in the WNIT, and so from it, I think anytime you play elite, you certainly have your weaknesses exposed. You learn a lot about yourself in those moments, and so this is a team that. Full of Hall of Famers, and when you get to compete against them, that's what I'm personally most excited about, is to see what can we do against them. How can we adapt as the game goes on? I don't know if we'll have access to the Stanford game. I don't know if we'll be able to scout, and even see what schemes they're running. To have a plan that in some ways can slow them down and before the game. And so then as the game goes on, it's like, okay, let's figure this out as we go. But that's the fun of the challenge. I don't think anybody's anticipating, we're going to, beat them by 30 points or something.
No, but at the same time, the message too could be, hey, play your hardest. Don't stop looking at them.
100%, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an opportunity to play against a team that they breathe basketball.
Yeah.
It's what they've done their entire lives at the highest level on every stage. Every one of them's in a record book multiple times, and so that's who they are. And so for us, it's learn yourself, and this whole journey here is self-awareness, it's self-knowledge, and okay, who am I on this stage? And certainly this is a group that wants to be on the biggest stage, at the end of our collegiate season. And so here we are at the beginning. What an awesome opportunity to really propel ourselves forward. So I'm confident this group will have the right mindset going into it, but that's the fun of it. So I don't know exactly what I'll say, before, but I know this team will approach it correctly and have fun with it.
At the same token, will you, because it is an exhibition, will you kind of have a moment where you go, it's okay to kind of take a mental image, step back, and realize, you're playing against, Sue Bird, Elena Delle Donne, just players you may never get the opportunity to play and share the court with again.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll just stand out there during warm-ups and just, stare down there for a second and just get it over with.
Right.
Honestly, you're going to need to do that at some point as a competitor. It's like, okay, I can't think that the whole game.
Right.
But that's the reality of it. That's the cool part of it. And I've never been somebody that's, so cliche where I'm going to say, oh, just pretend they're another person. That's not real. They are who they are. Just like every good team is who they are, and you respect them at the same time. You're here to compete and find a way to win.
Looking forward to this season, obviously. You have a lot of...
Can I just say real quick, I just felt like Rocky versus Apollo. Right there. That's just what I thought.
I love it.
That's a good analogy.
I love
That's just how that whole thing.
Yeah.
How are you going to... I don't know.
Well,
Anyway.
Looking forward to the season. You've obviously added a lot of depth to the front court. What do you expect out of your freshmen this year?
Yeah, them to do exactly what we expect every freshman to do when they come in, and that's just be themselves, learn quickly, and understand that they're important. And we want them. We're not waiting for them to contribute. We want them to contribute now. They're certainly going to have that opportunity, just like everyone else has. You could think back to Aaliyah and Taya just recently, their impact, during their freshman year, and then before that, Mick and Kat. During their freshman year had such significant roles. And so Kennedy and Taylor have a pedigree very similar to those players where they've had so much success, they're used to it. They're here just for the next challenge. And so we saw that in Italy. They weren't really phased playing with us. They were just ready to play, and they did a great job adapting. So, to learn as you go, to understand you're going to make mistakes, and just figure it out and get better. And that's what they've both demonstrated to this point. We're excited to have Yelena join us before too long, I hope, coming off her scope surgery on her knee. She's getting stronger every day. I don't have a time frame on her, but she's another player that has a similar background where she's had a lot of international success. So my plan is for her to have a role this year as well. And then, our walk-on Noelle Mannon has come in and done a great job and just played fearlessly, to this point, had a great practice yesterday. And so, in her role, she's making us better as well. And so I love freshmen. Empowered freshmen do great things. And these ones are that. And so we're expecting them to have a great year.
Coolest thing you saw in Italy? For
me, being on a boat, going around the Amalfi Coast, that was my favorite thing. It was just one of those moments where you're like, wow, look how some people live. Because we're going past a massive yacht after massive yacht, and you're just seeing things you've never seen before. And for all of us, that was true. None of us had ever been to that part of Italy before. Mm-hmm. And so that was fantastic. Team did an amazing job. So I have fun watching them too.
Yeah.
Just watching them have such a great time throughout the entire trip. But Amalfi Coast was my personal favorite moment.
You mentioned how ready the freshmen were when guys were in Italy. How much improvement have you seen them from day one to now?
Yeah, a lot. They have different skill sets. Taylor's so fearless. I mean, she just catch and go in the post, so aggressive. For her, there's a learning curve for sure, and it's been this fine line of not making. I don't want her to think too much. I don't want to slow her down, even though there, are certainly things to learn. But I think she's really maintained her aggressiveness through the learning process to this point, and done a really good job. Just her, the relationship she has with our guards, catching the ball and when and all those things is just becoming more and more fluid. Kennedy, she was out last week, wasn't feeling well, and so came back yesterday and was awesome. I mean, it was just like we missed her, when she wasn't there. She has such a presence because the ball's in her hand more, being a perimeter player. And so they're both picking up quick, like I thought they would, and so they're a big lift for us.
Where is Kat in her recovery process?
I don't know exactly a time frame, but I know she's on schedule and she looks great. I mean, she's, back in a lot of our drills, nothing live, of course, but a lot of the skill development stuff she's in, or the skill work she's in. And so she looks normal. I mean, she's in layup drills going off both legs yesterday and looking like Kat, so it's just making sure the strength is there, the confidence is there, and everything's good. But surgery was awesome. Her personality's back. You could tell she feels good, which is my favorite part of it for her. And so I don't know when, but she'll be back, and she's rehabbed very well. Looks awesome.